I'm CraigO, and join me on my adventures with CraigO's cryptocurrency as we cover the blockchain, Web3, NFT, and cryptocurrency technologies. Interviewing the best in the industry, giving tips and tricks, and also sharing with you projects that I'm most excited about.
You're watching CraigO's Crypto Corner, the best in Web3, blockchain, NFT, and cryptocurrency technologies. Great reviews, incredible interviews with the leading people in the Web3 space, and just the general things Web3 related. Last year in November, I got into OnChainMonkey, due in part from the advice of my cousin saying this is one of those communities that being part of long-term just makes sense. OCM has social impact with its Metagood Foundation. Everything in the OnChainMonkey ecosystem branches out from there, from its Genesis collection to its dessert drop and its newest Karma collection that launched on June 29th. I am part of the Diamond Mine, Diamond Hand community and will be holding my OCM for quite some time. We as a collective value this digital asset not only for the good it has done around the world, but for how well those who have hold this NFT have done. Amanda Terry is the COO of Metagood that owns OCM. She thrived in Web 2, bringing her talents as a former digital media business development executive at Twitter, NBC, and Newstar. She is surrounded by top-level talents with the likes of CEO Danny Yang and Chairman Bill Tai, not to mention a who's who of highly accomplished community members. Through our conversation, we will do a deep dive into the DAO, the Genesis Collection, the Karma Collection, Fast Company awarded for 2022 social impact NFTs, and what does it mean to be launched on-chain in a single transaction, and why is that special? We will also discuss community impact on platforms like Twitter and Discord. We will also discuss some of the amazing work Metagood has done around the world. OCM represents four things to me: respect, integrity, sustainability, and experimentation. Let's get to it. Welcome, Amanda. How are you?
Great. Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. The most exciting news, I think, to come from June 29th was the Karma Mint, which raised over 3,000 in ETH and brought on 1,500 new wallets. How are you feeling about that performance?
I mean, we're really happy with it. It's obviously been a little bit of a tough market, so we weren't sure how the mint was going to go, but we have such a strong community that, yeah, we raised over 3,000 ETH just in the primary sale. I think we just passed the 1,000 in secondary sales. And of the 2,500 that minted Karma, 1,500 were new wallets. So over 60% of the people we brought in were new holders from the Genesis collection, which was our goal, was to kind of bring new people into our community.
I think with all the FUD that's out there, to be able to accomplish that in style and fashion. And by the way, I actually had the early pass. So rather than consume my desserts, because I have 2 Genesis monkeys and 2 D1 pops, I got the early pass. I went on and I got my Karma monkey, which is different from the Genesis collection, which we'll go in depth with in a second. But with the additional equity financing that was raised from the Karma Mint, how will this directly impact the holders and the foundation as a whole? What do you think is like the key thing right there?
Yeah, so we've really only raised a few pre-seed rounds of kind of friends and family, but they include a bit of a who's who in the OG crypto, Web3, and I'd say social impact space. We have the founders of Dapper Labs, Litecoin, YGG, Axie Infinity, Holly Branson, who runs Version Unite, Gigi Breeson, who founded Ocean Elders, Randy Zuckerberg, Stacey Warden, CEO of Algorand, Guy Osiri, Baron Davis, Woody Harrelson, Owen Wilson. I mean, just an awesome list of founders and CEOs. So really what it means is that, one, we're really positioned for long-term growth. This is not a project that's around short term. We're really building a company at Metagood. OnChainMonkey was our first collection, then obviously Desserts and Genesis. But outside of just the funding from the Mint, we're very well funded to continue growing the company. And on top of that, we've just got an incredible group of people around us as a community to, support us and also support our community and our DAO.
No, I love it. And I think that's also the important thing, is that during this market, when I have a lot of people turning to me going, Craig, what are you doing? For me personally, it's not financial advice. I'm doubling down on some of the communities that I think are growing a strong hold in Web3 because I think it will attract outside, not only outside investors, but products and service related companies that want to be part of our OCM community, which I think is really strong. OCM was the first PFP to launch on one chain, to launch on chain in a single transaction. Now, why is that so important, Amanda?
Yeah, I mean, it was a historic first. So, technically it was very difficult to do. It means that basically all of our monkeys were coded into existence. That means all of the image and the metadata are on chain in a single transaction. That also means that the whole collection was launched in the most energy efficient manner. There's a couple great Medium posts that my co-founder Danny Yang wrote about the making of OnChainMonkey, which I recommend if anyone kind of wants to get a little bit more into the technical details, that they read those. But it's kind of, I like to think for more lay people, it's kind of like the Lascaux cave paintings in France. As long as those caves exist, those paintings will exist. As long as the Ethereum blockchain exists, our on-chain monkeys will exist.
Yeah, and the amount of money that you guys saved from being able to launch on, in one single transaction, 9,500 monkeys, I believe 500 of the monkeys, because it's a 10,000 collection, 500 monkeys went into the DAO. Is that correct?
Yes, yes, you've definitely done your research. Yep, yeah.
Oh yeah, no, you got to come prepared. When you're interviewing people at your level, and in a project that's as accomplished as this, you can't come unprepared. I was going through all the YouTube archives, just seeing how people were doing project reviews, and some of them I was like, it was cringeworthy because some of the most simple things were being missed and overlooked. The Karma collection is different because it wasn't launched on a single chain. So talk a little bit about what the differentiators between the Karma and the Genesis is. What is that biggest differentiator?
Sure. So, I mean, one thing is actually all of the metadata. So the traits are on chain for Genesis. And so the Genesis collection, basically what we had is people could, were dropped, airdrop desserts, 10,000 desserts from a snapshot in February. And when you eat your desserts, either the ice pops or the divine donuts or celestial cakes, it turns into a karma monkey, which is a version based off the traits of your Genesis, which is why it's so important that all of those traits are on chain because it makes for, future trading and all of that like a much easier. But kind of the difference between Genesis and Karma, just artistically, is to get all of the metadata and images on chain, it had to be relatively simple for Genesis. So, when people look at it, they're kind of like, oh, well, this looks like, circles and just bright colors, and it looks very easy to make. That was a constraint of it all being coded in a single Ethereum transaction. And then we kind of went to the other side of the pendulum for Genesis, and it's actually a really cool story. One of our community members posted a monkey derivative of his Genesis on Twitter, and so many people liked it in our community that we reached out to him and asked if he wanted to work on this new collection, Karma. And it turned out that he was a super talented Hollywood animator. And we were fortunate to bring him on, Drew Winey. He had worked on films from Rio, Ice Age, Ferdinand. He hired his former boss, who was also an animation studio, and another animator. And the three of them really worked on that collection for 9 months, and they're all kind of hand painted. So those are JPEGs. As I mentioned, the metadata is on chain. But the art is truly incredible if you look
Yeah.
at the Chroma collection.
I did. It was also interesting is that it had on the D1s, it was 24 layers to create that collection. And on D2, it was 25 layers. I
Yeah.
remember the conversation that my cousin Cryptero and I had in February before the dessert airdrop. And I said, how cool would it be if I got the celestial cake? So for those that don't know, you had D1, which are the pops, which we're going to eat one of those today. You have the
Yeah.
D2 donuts, and then you have the celestial cakes, which only 5 of those. And I said, how cool would that be? And then I thought, I think, they obviously were going for around 60 ETH. So like, I think one of them were auctioned. And I think, if I'm correct, was it Danny Yang that bought it or his brother? Who bought that celestial cake?
Oh, I should know. I'm not sure about, but it
Okay.
definitely it wasn't anyone from the company who bought it.
Okay.
Someone else bought it. But yeah, so in the collection of there's actually 10 that were dropped to our existing Genesis holders, and then for the new collection in the 10,000, there's only 5 available. And yeah, one sold for 30 ETH. I could go and look, but it wasn't a company person. But that was definitely, I think that happened within the first week after the mint. So that was our largest sale. Yeah.
Talk about the dilemma, for those that are hopping into digital assets and the burn mechanism, right, in consuming a dessert to create a karma. I don't know how I would feel about that. I don't know if I would be so like, yeah, let's burn this D3 dessert and create a karma. I might want to hold on to that. So I don't know. Like these are these choices that you make based on supply and demand. It's like sort of that, that fun game right now and in this bear market. I think some people, if they were sitting on the sidelines, might be able to take some chances. And I feel like this is one of those projects, if people do their due diligence on, they'll very quickly see why I'm so excited about OCM and why you're involved, and a who's who list. We went over sort of, a little bit of Genesis and the karma. I do want to talk about what is the OCM combinator.
Yes. So, I mean, we kind of view it, if you're familiar with Y Combinator, which is
Mhm.
one of the most competitive kind of programs for startups to enter. And like they're kind of started in the Bay Area, but I think they've gone quite global. With the funding of our DAO. So we put 50% of those mint revenues into our DAO. Actually, once we hit 10,000 ETH in trading revenues, even the secondary sales off of Genesis, plus any mint revenues, 50% of the mint revenues off of the Karma mint have all gone into a DAO. So I think we're at about 1,800 ETH funded for a DAO, which is a very high percentage of funds going into the DAO. And
Yeah.
what a DAO is, for anyone new to NFTs, it stands for Decentralized Autonomous Organization. And it's basically a way to enable our community, so our NFT holders, to vote on how funds are used. And the DAO is going through its season 1 right now, which will be 3 months. We're targeting about 80 ETH potentially to be budgeted to be used over the next 3 months. And the theme, just because we wanted to help our community kind of focus a little bit, otherwise it could be so many things that could be funded by the DAO, is around community and brand building for OnChainMonkey. So all the proposals that are coming in right now are OnChainMonkey holders who have an idea of how we can better build our brand and community. It could be anything from IRL events to franchising deals to games that are or metaverses that our on-chain monkeys can hang out in. Any of that is possible, and those are the types of projects
Bring
that need to get funded.
bringing the monkeys on missions, all the IRL stuff that you're doing. And I think it's also to that point right now, and I'm sure it's taken a little bit of stress. I mean, obviously, we don't want to see our friends or family, lose money, during the whole bull thing, but the bull market. But now in this rebuilding phase, I think it's the companies that are continuing, because you guys are a company that is doing, as I like to say, doing good around the world, but doing well for its holders. And I saw that I actually minted in, didn't mint, I actually purchased on secondary in November. And I know that the mint was a free mint in September. And most of those people were NBA Top Shot. You cycled through the fanfare and some of those NBA Top Shot people, and shout out to them. And they cycled through. And so now the people that are holding are seeing the overall mission encompassed. It took 9 months to create that Karma collection. And it was, talk about kismet. There was a guy on Twitter who designs this really cool monkey, and everybody's like, I love this. I love this. Caught your attention, right? Just like hopefully my podcast with my ever-growing audience will catch people's attention to show that there's due diligence being done and that we're bringing thoughtful interviews. But how cool is it that from that time of that conversation, sort of 9 months, what that represents is very powerful into creating a life. And we've created a karma. So that to me was really cool. I do want to go in though with you on the utility for the Genesis and Karma collection. So tell me a little bit about that, and then maybe I'll throw some more questions in on that.
Sure. Yeah. And just to address what you're saying before, in terms of why we had so many NBA Top Shot holders, I mentioned, one of our investors is Roam from Dapper Labs, and also Baller VC, which is their venture arm. And so this was a free mint. Danny we didn't do the typical marketing, setting up a huge Discord and Twitter thing. Danny literally created this collection kind of as an experiment. Like, could he technically create a profile pic collection all on chain in a single transaction. And so he tweeted it out, and Roam from Dapper retweeted it. And that's why so many of the people that initially came on, I mean, they were all claimed within 4 hours, right? So I think it was like $40, $60 gas fees. And then obviously, since then we've gone up so much that we've been, one of the most profitable collections for holders because, the price has gone up from that, obviously from that free mint. But that's why we have so many NBA Top Shot holders. In terms of utility, one kind of, short and longer term utility is this DAO, right? So if you're a Genesis holder, you get one vote in the DAO. If you're a Karma holder, you get one vote in the DAO. If you have a Genesis and a Karma, 1+1 in our world equals 3. So, we really want to encourage people to own both Genesis and Karma. You get 3 votes, and that enables you to propose projects, potentially be part of the community board that kind of helps to make decisions on kind of smaller projects. And we're setting up a prop house similar to Nouns DAO, where anything less than 2 ETH can kind of be approved by a small committee, and then also potentially get funding for your project. So that's that's one thing. We also do a lot of IRL. So kind of the months leading up to the mint, I think every 2 to 3 weeks I was speaking at a conference, getting our monkeys together. And I think a lot of people enjoy that. We've been investing also in an alpha group that just launched yesterday called Rising Alpha. So this is not officially part of OCM, but we're working with the team. We get so much allow list and amazing projects that are coming to OnChainMonkey and want to collaborate with our community. But we really want to offer that to our community kind of as a separate thing. So we have a great alpha group for people that are looking for that.
Yeah.
And yes, and then also we are going to be doing some very interesting things around monkey missions. And so anyone who is a Genesis holder during NFT NYC, we launched the idea of missions. The first one is very similar to the Moonbirds concept of nesting. So the first one was just basically hodling your NFT for 30 days, and that helps you complete your first mission, which some monkeys just did. Like the very early people that caught on to this started that yesterday. I actually should be completing a number of my missions for my monkeys sometime today. I need to go and check.
Is there something that me as a Genesis holder, and funny enough, I've done a lot of due diligence on the end of the missions. I don't know much about them. I'm going to be completely transparent with the audience.
Well, we've kind of wanted, it's always a delicate balance between kind of surprising delight and anticipation, and building anticipation and fun into something. And then, last week we just announced kind of like our Q3 roadmap, where we're like, okay, this is all what we've done. Here's what's coming. So it's, it's a fine line, but really missions is a way to experiment, in a way to create value for all of our holders by getting everyone to work together. So you can imagine kind of the first one of hodling helps to increase the value of collection, helps to increase that value across the whole collection. And then what will be coming, which is still a little bit of a mystery, is, some people started getting dropped basically boxes of rewards. Now people don't know what those are going to become, but I will say after the next mission is completed, it will be clear what those parts can be used for. And I'll just kind of give a little alpha. The idea is a lot of the mission rewards will be around rewarding people with both fungible. So we have a banana token, right, which we can talk a little bit about, and then also potentially non-fungible tokens. So this will be another short-term way for people to, potentially, make money off of their NFTs as well.
I think it's cool. And we talk about the hodl part, and I feel like you guys are really clear on your roadmap, super transparent with the audience. Mac Flavell, who created or brought NBA Top Shot to the NBA, said that there's not always necessarily this, I get very pessimistic when I see these really ornate roadmaps and all these promises. And there was a lot of that done last year. And I think a lot of the really successful and very thought out projects like OnChainMonkey really focused in on, doing the things that they said they were going to do from the beginning, didn't overpromise. And here was a very simple thing. We were going to launch this on chain in a single transaction. And it's the first to be done. Is that correct?
Correct. Yes, first
That's powerful, right?
profile pic collection launched in a single transaction.
Yeah,
Yes.
and I think thank you. And I think that the, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, if you're holding an OCM or, multiple or karmas, there's something special about that. And then the world will take notice in the coming years. So I think this is a great time for development. I do want to do Tony. Wow. I was like, Sean, where's Sean? I do want to do a quick screen share. I want to talk about Fast Company. You got awarded 2022 social impact NFTs. So actually want to pull this up right here.
Yeah,
So that
we
people
were
can look
super honored. We were awarded Fast Company's 2022 20 best world-changing ideas for impact investing. So this is not just NFTs. I think there might be one other NFT collection on there, but I mean, a lot of these companies have been around, obviously, like a lot longer than us.
Yep.
Because we were just founded last May. So like, yeah, we were awarded this within a year of starting. And a lot of that is basically based off of some of the social impact work we've done. So you mentioned our values being respect, integrity, sustainability, experimentation. If you go into our Discord, people are always typing rise, and that's to remind people of the values. But really, we keep talking about doing well and doing good. So we want to create wealth and build wealth for our community, but we also believe that you can, do good along the way. And by that, we mean we've used some of our trading revenues, not as a specific percentage going to like one nonprofit all the time, but where we see the ability to make an impact, kind of like a magic wand, where if we see a world issue where we feel like we can make an impact, we act on it. And, the first one was 3 weeks into our collection. We had OnChainMonkey community member Pollyann donate his OnChainMonkey. Said, I don't care where this goes. I just want it to go to something good. I've done really well from this collection. I want to give one of my monkeys up, and you guys figure out what we should do. So we auctioned it off. And it was actually Roam, obviously from Dapper Labs, our investor, and also Charlie Lee, the creator of Litecoin, who bid that up to 12.5 ETH. And then we donated 100% of the proceeds to the GigaConnect project, which is a UNICEF initiative bringing internet to schools globally. And so they were very happy to receive that donation. It kind of came out of the blue to them, but we felt like it's a really important thing they're doing, basically lessening the digital divide, which is hard for us to imagine in this NFT world where we're online all the time, but that like a majority of the world has no access to internet, right? And you can imagine as a kid how disadvantaged you are in this world if you can't get online, you can't participate in the digital economy. So that was our first thing. And then not only did we donate to them, but then we actually advised them on their first NFT collection, which they launched in January, called Patchwork Kingdoms, which was 1,000 NFTs done by Nadia Bramer, who's an artist who actually does data visualization of, internet of the have and have nots. It's a beautiful collection. And that has gone on to raise over $700,000 for this UNICEF initiative. And it was the first time UNICEF had done anything in the NFT space. So that was really excited. That's our first initiative. Then we were reached out to by an advisor to our company, Luis Hoyos, who's the Oscar-winning director of The Cove, Racing Extinction, and Game Changers. And he used to be a National Geographic photographer. And his buddy, Steve McCurry, actually took the iconic cover photo of Afghan Girl, which was, I think, back in like 1985. And he had kept in touch with this woman, Sharbat Gula, throughout her life. And she reached out to him last fall saying that she felt like her and her family lives were in danger. The Taliban had entered Afghanistan, and she was viewed as a Western icon, and she was not sure that, she was safe. So he found a nonprofit called Future Brilliance, which is run by a British woman, Sophia Sawire, and they've gotten over 300 Afghan children and women out of Afghanistan since all of that in the last year, basically. And they had an opportunity to basically get visas and get her and her family airlifted out, but they didn't have the funds. They're a very small nonprofit. So we used some of our trading revenues to help fund that evacuation process. So yeah,
That's what got me in last year. Just to be clear, because that was around November. My cousin sends me the article with the Afghan girl and said, this is about her and her family. This is what they're doing. And I said, how many projects have I seen this past year? This is well before the podcast was even coming to idea. This actually happened in January, where I started the podcast with the idea, and then we launched off late March. But I remember how it made me feel. And it made me feel like I'm getting this. And it wasn't about a money play. I want to be really clear on that with the audience. and how many projects I see that will talk about doing good and charity and foundation. You guys are as true as it gets to representing and defining what it means to actually do good in the world. So, I mean, that to me was like when you just said that, I was like, that's exactly why I got in. Um, I see that you're having a welcome party for new members. Any details that you can share with my ever growing audience on this for the
Yeah,
conference?
we're just setting that up. I mean, actually, Danny and I are doing 2 Zooms today with, like, a bunch of either if you're on our email list, which means you basically subscribe to our newsletter, or you came to an event, or you RSVP to an event, or you're an investor. I think we sent an email to, over 700 people to just do an AMA with Danny and myself. We're doing one at, like, 7:30 a.m. Pacific, so shortly, but he can start it and I can join late, and then 7:30 p.m. Pacific. And those are just like AMAs to meet us. If you're new to the community and you have questions, like we're just going to open it up and do Zoom calls. But we'll also be doing kind of a larger Twitter Spaces next week with our community, which is kind of the main. Most of our holders are either on Twitter or Discord, and so we wanted to offer kind of this like Zoom option as well. But we'll be doing a Twitter Spaces where we'll have people come up, talk about how they heard about Karma, any fun stories they want to share about Karma. We'll have some of our artists talk about the development of Karma and the traits, which I think a lot of people are really interested in learning more about. And we'll just kind of give more background on the Genesis collection and Karma and any other questions that people want to ask. So we try
I
to
love
do spaces, pretty regularly. We did a dessert reveal party right the day, during the mint while people were eating their desserts. And then we did another spaces on Saturday to kind of start welcoming people, but also talk about our Q3 roadmap. And so then we'll do another one next week.
I like that you also introduced a community OCM survey. I think there's not enough really good communication right now in Web3 for a lot of different reasons. But to me, that says you want to understand the pulse of your community. Who are the holders or the investors? You want to, the holders want to understand the founders. So tell me a little bit about that survey and why it's so important.
Yeah, so we did one last October, like a month after we launched the Genesis collection, and we rewarded people with digital bananas. And digital bananas, by the way, are kind of our fungible token that you can earn either in Discord or Twitter. And those bananas, people use for all sorts of utility, both buying merch, early allow list spots. People have been able to buy books from Andrew Chen, The Cold Start Problem. He's a partner at Andreessen Horowitz. Laura Shin, who wrote The Cryptopians. These are signed copies of books. There's now playing poker. We have, and fantasy football. We have leagues that people are using bananas as antes into those leagues. And also people just give them, like, if someone's doing a great job and making some fun gifts, they'll give them as a reward to them as kind of a thank you. If someone's birthday, they send bananas. So yeah, where was I going with that? But bananas and tokens,
Well,
remind me of, yeah.
yeah, so for the fungible
Yeah,
bananas. And by the way, when we do mint this Karma Monkey today, I'm so excited about this. And
yeah.
you said I'm the first. I'm like, yes, great idea. First to market. I think the bananas have a direct impact. And when we go onto the website and you'll see my wallet connect, everybody will see my MetaMask connected, my Discord's connected, my Twitter's connected. By the way, I hadn't done this in probably up until about a month. So people like, oh, look, Craig, he's all over the place and yet he's super focused. And a lot of these things aren't overnight. And if you're in too many projects that are just projects with these crazy, like you're kind of chasing down the avenue, you get lost. So the fungible bananas will have a value. And right now, I believe that's in the way of merchandise. At some point, are you guys going to be having a token?
Yeah, I mean, I can't comment too much, but when you talk about utility, that is, in the plans to
Yep.
bring some of those currently off-chain bananas
Yeah.
on-chain. I think we were the first NFT collection to integrate with Discord and Twitter so that you can earn bananas by typing commands in Discord to keep people active in our Discord. And also, if you tweet about OnChainMonkey, you've connected your wallet to our website, you can also earn bananas. And so we've actually been getting reached out by multiple NFT communities that are asking, how did you do this? Can we implement something like that for our community? And yes, we are, and also large companies and brands that also want to kind of figure out, okay, you've created this authentic, sticky, engaged community that wants to do
Yeah.
well and do good. what are you doing and what tools are you using, and what could we use to implement as well.
Yeah,
So
that the technology merges with human beings really focused and passionate about doing good and doing well, and I think that's important, right? Doing well for the holders and doing good around the world, and I think what's really cool is launched on chain in a single transaction, right? And
yeah.
then you also talk about the fungible bananas, which it's sort of like it's in-game play. When you talk about the command, for those of you that don't know, it's rise and then the exclamation mark. Am I right?
Yes, yes.
And that's
Yeah, I
really
mean,
easy. You put
exclamation point rise, we kind
Thank
of
you.
just to make it a little different, we do
Yeah,
yeah,
on the back
yeah,
show.
yeah, we do the rise, exclamation point rise, but yes.
And I think everything is really important with timing, and I believe that it was done in good taste to honor all the things that you're doing around the world. September 11th was a day of reflection, and last year, it was the 21st anniversary of the terror attacks. Or actually, this year will be the 21st anniversary. And it's also the 1 year anniversary of the launch of OCM. Being said, that's Metagood Foundation has done extraordinary things around the world. And I really want people to and the great thing about this market is there's not a FOMO right now, the fear of missing out. This is, you get to have the opportunity to do due diligence. You get to hear interviews, great interviews like this with CraigO's Crypto Corner and Amanda Terry, and then figure out where you're going, how you're positioning yourself in the years to come, but also to make a direct impact. I want to be a little redundant and I want to go back to why was the DAO created? I know we've talked about it, but what was the main purpose for the DAO and what do you think in the decentralized autonomous organization's wallet, what do you think we're going to be collecting most?
I mean, the DAO was basically created, to honor Web3, right? So instead of the Web 2 way would be kind of executives at a company, centralized decision making on how all of the company's funds are used. In the Web 3 world, it's about engaging your community, creating value for a community, and ultimately empowering your community to make decisions on how the funds that they gave to this DAO should be used. And so I think as we look forward over the next year, I mean, things we've done in the past that we've made decisions on were like partnering with Axie Infinity to do an esports contest that we raised funds to help rebuild homes in the Philippines that were impacted by typhoons. We created with our art team our own NFT, which was a mosaic of 25,000 monkeys in the shape of the earth with a heart over Ukraine. And then we had our community vote for which charity those funds would go to. We raised over 185 grand in 2 weeks, and all of the funds went to save the children. So those were kind of, the first one, we decided to partner with Axie Infinity as an executive team. The second one, we decided to create an NFT, but we had our community vote where the funds should be used. That was actually our first DAO vote in the snapshot. And on the go forward basis, what's so exciting about the DAO is, anyone can submit a project that we feel like aligns with our values of respect, integrity, sustainability, experimentation. And in this first season, if they help build community, if they help build the OCM brand, they can be Web3 for-profit projects, or they could be impact projects. But we want to outsource that and empower our community to come up with ideas and then help fund them. Not only help fund them, but you get the expertise of Danny Yang, who created MyCoin, the largest cryptocurrency exchange in Taiwan, and Blockseer, which he sold in 2018, a blockchain analytics company. PhD from Stanford, founded the Stanford Bitcoin meetup. And you have Bill Tai, who is one of the most legendary Silicon Valley investors. Early investor in Dapper Labs, been in crypto since 2010, first money in Zoom, early investor in Wish, Canva, and over 23 publicly traded companies. Myself, our whole investor base, you've got this whole community around you to help launch a project. So it's not just about the funding you can get from the DAO, but I think what's really powerful is once we start activating our network of, obviously the founders and investors, and then you also have this built-in community of people that want to support you, right? So once the community has voted on a DAO project and it's, passed, you've got 5,000 token holders who, maybe not everyone's going to buy your NFT if it ends up being an NFT project, but you've got 5,000 people, and at least a majority of them are going to want to support whatever that project or initiative is.
I mean, you also were on the New York Stock Exchange floor, speaking to one of the women there, talking about the community. And I think it's always interesting, especially with them. And I do it in every pod. This is not financial advice. It was sort of the beginning, and then they
Yeah.
got to talk about Metagood and the foundation. I thought that was a really good look for our community. I do also want to talk to you about how important do you think, and I don't know it's as important once you're developing and you're really rolling, what you kind of said, like what was the main focus, for Danny on when as this project was coming, what that was really about the technology and being the first to be on chain in a single transaction. But how important do you feel Twitter and Discord is to the success of not only OCM but also other blue chip NFT projects?
I mean, I think that's where the community lives, and especially like NFT collection and collectors. The majority of them are getting information on Twitter and oh yeah, yeah, okay, cool. On Twitter and on Discord. So yeah.
Yeah, and I think this is really important. And man, I think the barrier of entry for people. I mean, Google just came out, I believe, with their Google Wallet, and I think it's only a matter of time before you're going to see sort of automatically, wallets, crypto wallets on there, and sort of these things that are, nuanced to a lot of people won't be. And I feel like if I'm going to get people to come to this Web3 space, I feel like they've got to come in directly through Twitter, and they got to just start reading through all the tweets, seeing what people are saying, start engaging, asking those questions. Don't be afraid, people, to be vulnerable. If you have questions, it's okay. I mean, I came on here and I said, I know nothing about missions. I know a lot about the community, and I know a lot about the projects and the nuances and why I love OCM. But it's okay to not know everything. It's okay. So what do you feel like is sort of a strategy for people wanting to learn, not just about OCM, but about Web3 in general? What's your advice?
Yeah, I mean, I think you gotta meet people on whatever, their medium is of choice, right? So some people like to listen to podcasts, some people get all their information on Twitter, some people wanna dive into Discord. I will say, my perspective is it's hard to be in, like, a lot of Discords because there's just so much information happening all the time, but, you can certainly join Discord, you can join Twitter, um, listen to podcasts, from reputable sources. Obviously, there's lots of crypto publications and NFT publications to follow as well. But I think it's always good just to, do your research. I think a lot of people also figure out their first NFT buys through word of mouth, right? So I think you said you learned from your cousin. Is that right?
Yeah,
Yes.
I
Yeah.
did.
So I mean, a trusted source, somebody who has been collecting for some time will have some views. They've maybe had good and bad experiences, and they can kind of share, what's been, good for them. And so I think it's always good if you can maybe team up with a buddy and learn together, or find a mentor who's been in the NFT space, which is frankly not that long. I mean, mentor, wisdom is probably not more than 2 years in the space,
Yeah.
probably more like one, and you're considered OG. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, finding somebody to help.
Yeah, I mean, you came from Web 2 and now merging into Web 3, and I feel like Web 2's connection is only going to merge over the coming years into Web 3, and I think for most of the general public, I think it's great if you can get ahead of that trend. I'll be careful on how I ask this question, but I think it's a really important thing to ask. What are your thoughts on OpenSea, and what do you feel for NFT marketplaces need to do to create more transparency for growth and adoption for new people into the space? Because it's been a very slippery slope. We can acknowledge that. What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, I'd love to see more analytics from OpenSea. They are sitting on a ton of data in terms of who's buying. There are some sites that have come up like Flips Finance, or there's people that on Twitter just do their own crunching of data. But there's been several sites that have shown that our Genesis collection was one of the most profitable collections of all NFT collections, based off of percentage of profitable trades. So I would love to see, more data like that surfaced, from OpenSea. Frankly, even when we launched our Karma collection, and now it's verified, but there are fake collections that pop up all the time. I think it's almost like a whack-a-mole for OpenSea. So I think they're trying their best to kind of take those down as they happen. But that's something that I think just, you know, we need to improve,
And
because
by the way, I shout out to
it
the
breaks my heart if somebody goes into a Discord and bought something off a fake link, which, again, you just have to be super careful, where you're buying, making sure that
trust.
it, reputable site. But if you're a new person, it can be a little can definitely be sometimes confusing.
And I think there are a lot of people, and one of the reasons why I wanted to create this channel is because there's some really good podcasters out there. I'm going to focus on always on the positive, and that those podcasters really inspired me to want to see, okay, can I hang with you? Can I create some really great content? Can we create something that's meaningful and impactful? And I think that's what we're accomplishing. But more importantly, I think you mentioned a couple things, right? Is we want to see the analytics, and I kind of figured that might be your answer, and I think it's a good one at that. All right, so Amanda, are you ready to eat dessert with me?
Oh,
You
I
ready
can't
for it?
wait. I
Let's
can't wait.
do it. All right, let's go with the screen share so everybody can see the website. So this is in as we're recording this, I want people to go to, onchainmonkey.com. I want you to check it out, go through the collection, the gallery, the benefits, the learn more, go to the learn more, buy NFTs if you're so inclined, and go through the team. The team is a who's who. I kind of left a little bit of that out because I really wanted to focus on you and the leader, the direct leadership, but more importantly, I wanted to focus why I'm so excited about OCM, and I'm really excited to eat this dessert. So Connect Wallet, I'm going to click on this. Automatically, it's going to pull up. Should pull up there. I'm going to go into my wallet. There we go. Bear with me. Here we go. And make sure you have a long, nice password and you don't have it saved onto your computer. Little tip for you guys. Come on. We don't want to get hacked so easily, please. Okay, bear with me. Connected sites, manually connect. It's funny all the little things you learn.
Few wallets there.
Oh yeah, yeah, I know. Pretty bad. All righty. So let's see if we connected it. If it got connected, I believe it did. Bear with me for a minute. All righty. All right, it says connecting. All right, sign. All righty, let me go into the collection. All right, see if this pulled up. Bear with me, guys. What's going on here? No problem. This is fun. This is fun. Real time stuff. All righty. Yep, that's what I want to do. It says connecting, sign. All right. That's weird. It just figures that this would happen with you right now.
Oh, and I wish I could troubleshoot this for
Don't
you.
worry. Don't worry about it. We're gonna
Should
get this.
yeah,
There
there
we go. There
you
we go.
are.
Yes.
Yay.
We'll be able to edit a little bit of that out possibly. All right. I've got some pathetic
Great.
look at me. All right, guys. So this right here is the bananas. As you can see, the merchandise, if I decided to order, there are now, by the way, my karma doesn't come up in here because I minted that separately. So I don't expect that will be in the wallet or in my
Those are gonna be showing up soon. Yeah.
cool. Like all these little nuances that people go, oh my gosh, it's not in there. I remember always going into OpenSea, being like, oh, is it an OpenSea? And I would check my wallet every morning to make sure that something wasn't stolen. All right, so we're gonna eat the dessert. All right, let's do this.
So yeah, you gotta pick which monkey you want to eat.
All right. Now I'm gonna let you do that. This is fun. You're in the driver's seat. Which one do you want me to pick?
I mean, the one you have is good. I'd have to look at the other one to see what the other one might let's see. Oh, let's do that one. I think this one will be fun. Yeah,
Done.
let's fun.
All right, let's pick a D2 pop now. It's just
Yep.
one, right? Yeah, there we go. I
Yep.
don't want to use. All
Yep.
right, you ready?
Yep.
All right, let's go to next. All right, let's eat this dessert. I'm hoping I have enough ETH. Please tell me I put enough ETH in here. Please
And
tell
this
me.
is what bananas were used for. So some people used 100 bananas and they could get a ticket for 20 free mints,
Yep.
which happened a bit ago. But yeah, so for some people they're not being charged for this dessert eating.
Uh-oh, what's going on? New address clicked. Hmm,
Did you confirm? You confirmed to hit confirm?
it did.
Okay.
There we go. There we go.
Here we go.
Okay.
Yeah, just gotta be patient for a second. It's just processing.
Okay. That was the other thing, everyone. Some people aren't patient. I fall into that category, so I'm not touching anything. It's gonna come through.
Yeah. I mean, even minting, sometimes I feel like I have to click a few times before it goes through, but yeah.
All right. You guys, Tony, you're gonna have some editing magic if we can make this one happen. Yeah, no worries. Like I got a great studio for this because you definitely lose the attention. Yes.
Oh, and
Yep. So,
now here it comes.
all right. This is exciting.
A minute.
We're gonna share this today after. How cool. And I think that's the thing with MetaMask and technology in general is that MetaMask is probably I think it's one of the toughest. It's a great wallet, don't get me wrong, but it's tough to learn on and it's very intimidating. It can be for users.
Yes,
Ha! There we go. Do you see my monkey?
I
Ah,
do. Ooh,
I
I
love
like
it.
it. I love it.
I love it. This was an honor. I'm glad to be a first to consume as a podcaster my dessert with you. Amanda, it is an honor to have you on CraigO's Crypto Corner.
Well, thank you for having us on and giving us a platform to share our story. And thank you for being a community member and a supporter. And yeah, really excited. It was really fun today.
Absolutely. You have a great day, all right?
Okay, thank you.
All right.
Yep.
Bye.
Bye.